Slide nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time, and these are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material's soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there. But they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material's soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. First thing I notice is that these guards don't move. Once they're in place, they stay there. I can tackle, sprint, or slide without adjusting them. You feel secure and locked in. My first impressions of the Goats guards, honestly, super light and super clean. Straight away, you can tell they're built to move with you. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro. These guards don't move. The first thing I notice is that these guards don't move. Once they're in place, they stay there. I can tackle, sprint, or slide without adjusting them. You feel secure and locked in. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro.
Hello everyone, happy Thursday. I hope you're well. We've got another live weekly call going ahead tonight. Over the next hour, we are going to take you through a little couple of updates from our platform here on School and a few little notifications. And then today we are going to be finishing our second but last section of the football mental strength training course. And then we're going to finish off with our Q&A. So if you've got any questions today, guys, as ever, please drop it into the comments for us and we will answer those questions for you and we'll help you. What we'll do is, without further ado, we will get straight into the School platform, and we've got a couple of little exciting notifications to update you on, and then we'll also get straight into that football mental strength training element as well. So what we're going to do is we'll just see if we can get across into our School platform here. Just bear with me for 2 seconds, guys. I did have this screen ready, and typical, it's closed off for me. So hopefully you should all be seeing my School screen now, which is really, really good. So big thank you for everyone who's with us. Now, what we are going to be looking at today is our next section of the football mental strength. But before we show you that, a couple of things I want to say. A big shout out to Riley, Khaleesi, Josh, Amelia Vella, all the guys who were all up to date with logging everything. Also, we did get a question in a little bit earlier today, I think it was, asking I think it was from Marlon saying that he had a few issues with his StatSports tracker. As we said to you guys probably over a year ago now, all of the support is dealt directly by StatSports. So if you have any issues whatsoever with your tracker, in a sense of it's not working, it's not turning on, it's not connecting, please, all you need to do, and I've made it really easy for you, if you go into the community and you can't remember where the post is, if you just type in StatSport, hopefully it should give you the latest help, and it's this particular one here, StatSport help. So what you can do is, to make it even easier, if you just type StatSport help, it will only bring that post up. When you click in, it will give you all of the email addresses you need. So I would always say email general customer support, so the academy at statsports.com. The guys are really good, and if your tracker is still in warranty, once they've problem solved with you that it's not an actual user issue and it is a hardware issue, they will swap that tracker for you. And it's a case of, I think they will send you a new one out once they receive your one back, and you've just got to get it over to the post to them, and it's a pretty quick turnaround. They've now got offices in, I believe they've got stock in Australia, the USA, and in Europe and in Ireland, where the head office is. So anyone who has StatSports issues, all you need to do is type StatSports help in the community and you'll get all the email addresses. And I've even included, if you guys use the Athlete Series or the Sonra Light products, their actual support email addresses are there as well. So if you purchase any additional stuff with them. So that was a great one. A little bit of an update on where we're at, guys, in regards to pushing through the community. So we've said we're trying to get into the top 3 of sports. We're currently sitting number 4. The group that's ahead of us is another football or soccer group. Now, we are only a couple of places away from nicking them into 3rd place, but not only becoming 3rd overall in sports, but we are actually going to become the number 1 soccer football platform on the planet. School has now got 210,000 communities, over 22 million users, and that's going to be pretty impressive. And that's thanks to you guys. If we look at the overall, you'll see where we are. We are currently in 39th position, and we've got to get above 36th, which will mean we get into 3rd place. So the best way you can help us, guys, we've got the 7-day challenge on at the moment. So if I pull up, hopefully this will come up for us. It should come up, 7-day challenge. So that was the old one, but I think it's this one. Was it this one 12 days ago? Let me make sure I get the right one. This one. Okay. We're asking everyone, guys, to log 300 plus activities a day, which is super easy. It takes in the region of 7 to 10 minutes to do that many. Again, if you need any help with it, drop us a message. We've got Khaleesi's doing it, Joshua's doing it, Obrad's doing it, Ricky's in, I'm in, Henry Pintley's in, Xavier's in. If you notice that any of your friends aren't in and they're in the school platform, give them a nudge, guys, to get everyone in, and we'll get started and get going on it. So as an example, let's have a little look. Let's see if Khaleesi has been doing it. So she's got 168 for today. She's done 600 yesterday, 348 the day before, 321, 362. Oh yeah, so she's nailing it. So she's flying. So that's all you need to do, guys. Just make sure you get 300 activities or more on there. Also, big thank you to Matthew. Anyone who doesn't know Matt Wooden, he's off to the UK at the end of the year. He's going to be going over to Liverpool for his football full time, and he's smashing in all of his tracking at the moment, which is really good to see. Also, Riley Williams, who's actually based in Liverpool and from Liverpool, he's actually trying to get back on track after being at a professional academy. He was at Everton Football Club. He's dropped down a couple of divisions with his football now, but he's trying to get back up to that Premier League level. So we're really super pumped to help Riley with that one as well. And yeah, it's really, really pleasing to see, guys, how much is getting tracked and dropped in here. A big shout out to Khaleesi as well. This was a great post that she dropped in today saying that they won the tournament. And she got to meet Catherine Cannully, which is an amazing, she's an ex-Matilda. and friends of the family, so that was a great experience for Khaleesi. Well done. And I just reminded Khaleesi at the bottom, I hope Khaleesi charged Catherine to get the picture, because obviously, as we all know, Khaleesi's probably going to be a future Matildas and captain of the Matildas. So I'm sure Catherine will be excited that she got a picture with Khaleesi and not the other way around. So what we're going to do is, without further ado, guys, that's all the updates. We're going to go into Classroom. We're going to go into section 7, which is our football mental strength. Now, you'll notice over the past couple of weeks, mental toughness, both videos are in there. That's pretty exciting. Self-talk, the video's in there. So you can actually watch these videos and get walked through, handballed through each of the sections. Controllables is in there. Imagery is now dropped in. We've also got building confidence is being dropped in there. And we've got 2 sections to go. So today, we are going to be looking at dealing with disappointments. Now, this is a great one. So we're going to have a look at disappointments, the interactive discussion. We're going to have a little look at the workshop, homework, and then a bit of a conclusion and a summary. So get your pens and paper ready. If you're going to record some information on one of your devices, your phone or your iPad, you can do that as well. And we're going to take you through this for the next 20 to 30 minutes. So first thing we're going to do is, within dealing disappointments, we've got a great video with our friend Mr. Kylian Mbappe of France and also Real Madrid. I hope you enjoy this short video, and I want all of yous to write down some notes during the 3-minute video, and then if you're watching this in the recording, I want you to send us a little post in the community and put the number 1 thing that you got from the video. If you're currently watching it on the live and you're watching it on YouTube now, can you drop in the comments after the video, what was the one takeaway? And I'm really interested to see what different types of takeaways players are getting from this. And I may even pick a winner to win a prize.
What is this I hear about you wanting to quit? You didn't think that this was going to be hard? You thought this was just going to be a little cakewalk, huh? You guys were just going to come through and get everything that you wanted in one little piece. No. We are here today to remind you that this is a journey, a process. We don't want you to quit. We here at Unisport know that you guys have big dreams. We know that you guys want to play. We know that you want to enjoy yourselves on the field, but we also know it's not just going to come easy always, and you don't want it to. You do not want everything in the world to come to you easy, because you will not be a strong man or a strong woman. You will be weak, because it is the challenges, my friends, every single setback and obstacle that you take on that makes you anti-fragile, that makes you a baller, that makes you someone that can stand up in the face of obstacles and say, you know what? It didn't go well today. It didn't go well yesterday. It might not go well tomorrow, but I'm not stopping, all right? This is just a reminder. We want you guys to enjoy the game. I want you guys to enjoy the game, but you won't enjoy the game unless you admit to yourself why you are doing it, which is one of the other principal things for you today. Why are you playing? What is it that you love about football? Do you love to score goals? Are you a defender? You love to crush people, huh? You just sitting at home watching Pepe and Sergio Ramos videos, the guys just getting jacked in the face and cleated. Is that what you like? Hey, that's perfectly fine. Are you maybe a goalie and completely out of your mind and like getting balls kicked in your face, all right? Goalies are you guys are so weird. But hey, if that's what keeps you on the field, if that's what keeps you going, this is exactly what you need to do. Most people have no idea how close they are to a big breakthrough. If you have put in so much work and you love what you're doing, then that's what matters. Keep going. That little breakthrough just might be right around the corner. What would happen if you quit? Take a second and think about it. A few years would pass, a few months would pass. That time is going to pass anyway. Every single day that you thought you could play, that you thought you could get better, that you thought you could score those goals, it's going to pass anyway. All right? So why not put in the time to make sure that you are the player that you want to be? Let's take, for instance, the World Cup. Good God, how many upsets just happened? You would have thought on paper that none of that could happen at all. What did they do? They went out there, they didn't care about the labels, they didn't care if you're playing against Messi. I don't care about any of that. What they get out there, they concentrate on their game, on what they want to do, on not giving up, on being persistent with everything that they have, giving it their all. That's what we want from you guys. Give it your all. Enjoy it. There is nothing else you need to do but enjoy it and give it your all. The rest, you just let the chips lay where they might be, and whatever happens, happens, but you just keep going, all right? That's the reminder for today. My name's Will John. I'm about to hit a crossbar that you have never seen in your entire life. That's what I do. They call me the Crossbar Man. It's part of a superhero thing. It's no big deal. Me, Thor, Superman, we get together, we do a couple things. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the crossbar for you. I'm not gonna look, because I was talking to Batman about it, and you know, he doesn't have any superpowers. Guy feels all. Anyway, we'll see you later. Check the links right down below. Subscribe, like, cool gear here at Unisport, and no look crossbar. We'll see you later. Nailed it.
So hopefully you enjoyed that video. Now, the reason why understanding disappointments is so important, because a lot of players actually don't understand that certain things that you're doing or you're feeling or you're thinking is actually a disappointment. So it's really important that when you're dealing with disappointments, you actually need to understand what disappointments are and how you feel about them. So as we just covered there, it could be losing a match, getting injured, missing a goal, not being selected for the team. But disappointments are a natural part of any sport, and how you deal with them can shape your success. So it's really important. We've covered this in the previous slides and the previous sections. But if we think back to processes versus outcomes, if we focus more on processes and only processes, you're going to have less disappointments, because 9 times out of 10, when you focus only on processes, you're going to see constant improvements as you're working through, okay? So there's a little bit of a personal reflection as a task on here. So what I want you to do is, if you're watching this on a recording, pause it, and I want you to think about a time in football when you were disappointed, a tough loss, a missed opportunity. How did it make you feel? How did you react? And what could you have done differently to cope better? Now, what you can do is, if you're in a small group, if you're working with a teammate, as I said, you can pause this. And what I want you to do is talk about it for 10 or 15 minutes. Write it down if you're working on your own. Jump into the community. Give it a title of Understanding Disappointments and share it. Share it with everyone. So what you were feeling, how did it make you react, and what could you have done differently to cope? And if you think back to things like processes versus outcomes, that will 9 times out of 10 be your answer on how to deal with disappointments. Because disappointments are fine, but how you respond is what matters. Now, if you're watching this on the live, can you drop that answer into the YouTube comments for us as well? So think about a time when you were disappointed. How did it make you feel? How did you react? And what could you have done differently? So you can drop that into the YouTube live comments. So we'll have a little look at our next interactive discussion and we'll move on. So again, if you're watching this on the recording and you're watching it back with Inside School, what we're looking for you to do is do this in a group if you can. A group could be you and a sibling. It could be a friend that you connect with on a Zoom call. It could be mum or dad or a neighbour or someone that you play with. Now, if you're not able to do it in a group, you can do it on your own as well. But what we want you to do is in the group discussions, and I'll just go through them briefly. Number 1, what's the most disappointing moment you've had in soccer and how did you handle it? And think back before you started using the mental strength training program that we're doing now. So think back a year or 2 maybe, and think about a disappointment that you had and how did you handle it, and make a note of that and record it down. Again, if you're happy to share it in the community, please put dealing with disappointments, interactive discussion, and put your answers down for each of the questions. Number 2, do you think disappointment is part of growing as a player? Why or why not? And put your reasons down. Number 3, how do you think professional players deal with disappointments like injuries or defeats? What I'll get you to do is as well, you can share strategies. So maybe what you could do, if there's more than 2 of you, you could answer one of the questions each and then share back and then discuss. So it gives the power to one player to just talk about that one particular question and the answer, and then it gives the other players an opportunity to be involved as well. And then as a group, you can discuss each other's answers. One of the sharing strategies that we want you to do is each player shares a coping strategy they use when they feel disappointment in a game or training. This could be talking to a teammate, focusing on the next play, or taking a break to reset the mindset. And again, my number one top tip when you're trying to deal with anything that you're disappointed with, the best way to look at it is reflect in your football blueprint, put it into the document and into the notes, and then what I want you to then do is then record it down. And can you turn that into some type of objective where you're going to follow a process versus following an outcome? So hopefully everyone's watched all of the different sections all of the way through. If you've jumped straight into this section because dealing with disappointments was something that you liked, I'll just jump back out just to show you where you can go for the football blueprint. So if you go back into Classroom, and if you go into the football blueprint and click football blueprint version 3, this is where you can record all of your data, your goals, your measurements. You've got all your QR codes for your skills and tricks, your skills development. But the page that we're looking for, you got your juggling tracker, your monthly plan. There's a lot of stuff, your daily planner, your weekly game analysis, your wellness journal, video analysis. We want you to put it into your notes here. So in your notes here, it might be, I felt really sad when I gave away possession and it turned into a goal for the other team and we lost 2-1. Okay, so your task could be process instead of outcome, and the topic you're going to work on will be possession, and it's going to be short possession, and you're going to focus on processes rather than outcomes. And the processes are, how many passes can you complete in a game? Okay, now let's say you played Manchester City's academy and you recorded 20 passes and 10 were complete. That will put you at a 50% success. Next target or game is to beat 50%. Now, if we focus on that process and we're just focusing on beating 50%, rather than trying to make all of your passes successful, all of your shots on goal going in, every time you defend, you've got to tackle a player and win the ball. If you focus on processes versus outcomes, you're going to find that you're going to stop beating yourself up. You're going to notice that you're successful a lot more than you actually see. And it's going to help you to maintain focus when you're trying to improve. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea on how you use that football blueprint, okay? So I'll drop back into the football mental strength training and we're going back into our section 6, dealing with disappointments. Next slide that we're going to have a look at is our workshop. So within our workshop, what I want you to do again, if you're watching this on the recording, once I've finished speaking on this particular slide, pause it. And again, this is not something that we expect you to work through all of these slides on this particular section, dealing with disappointments, to do it all in 15 minutes. Each of these slides and each of these tasks, if they're done properly and correctly, should take you at least 30 to 60 minutes each. So if we have a look on here and we think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 here. It's probably 2.5 hours to 3 hours it should take you if it's done properly. But also remember, with the football mental strength training, as you work through the course, you don't work through the course once and then that's it. It's an internal thing that you keep consistently working through. So you should be going through the football mental strength every week for 52 weeks of the year until you make it as a pro player. And even when you make it as a pro, you should ensure that you are still following certain elements of this. Now, do you need to do all 7 areas and all 7 items constantly? No, because that would be too much for you to follow. But what I want you to do is, once you've gone through the football mental strength course in its entirety, I want you to reflect back and I want you to look at the sections: mental toughness, self-talk, controlling the controllables. And I want you to pick out 1 or 2 areas that you love the most. And from those 1 or 2 areas, I want you to draw up your little mini objectives for your football mental strength training. And that's going to help you set it all up. So, in this particular workshop, again, in small groups, set this up with a teammate. Also, if you've got teammates who are not on the school platform with us, introduce them to the platform, get them to register just for 1 month, and they'll actually see the benefits themselves. But even if friends aren't registered on school, they don't necessarily need to be registered. You could share this screen with them, and you could do it on a Zoom call and share your screen, and you could work as a team together, okay? We want you to discuss real or imagined scenarios. So the best way to do this, if you can work with someone, play a bit of devil's advocate. Player A, you talk about a real situation. And then player B, when it's your turn, you talk about a made up situation, but maybe link it in to your favourite player. So it might be your favourite player is Kylian Mbappe. And you might make a scenario up where Kylian Mbappe is really upset and build it like a story. But it's going to help you to understand the processes. And what I want you to think about is, number 1, what went wrong? What can be learned from the situation? And how could you or that player bounce back stronger? So when you role play, you might imagine that you're Kylian Mbappe and it's a fun little role to play. And then you swap over. Your friend or sibling or teammate will then, they'll be the role player and they might become a player, a famous player. But then when it's your turn, you might then have a go at just actually talking about a real life situation. So it's really, really good to go through these. Now, one of the other tasks is reframing your thoughts. So again, write down a disappointing moment. Then next to it, write a positive, a lesson that you can take from the experience. So I'll give you an example. I missed the shot, okay? I now know what to work on in training. So if you miss a shot, and what that means is if you miss a shot, like you have a shot but it doesn't go in the goal, that means you've missed essentially. It might have went on target but you haven't scored. What we want you to do is focus on maybe when you shoot a goal, is the ball on target or is it off target? That way you're taking the pressure off from actually scoring a goal, because that's an outcome. And yet we all want to score goals, we all want to win games, we all want to win points for our team, and we all want to win our league. It might be the Premier League, okay? But what we want you to do is frame it a different way. If you're an attacking player and you get shots on goal, I want you to record, when you watch your game back, how many times you had a shot on goal. So it might be 20 shots on goal. And out of the 20 shots, 10 of them are on target, which means they either hit the bar, post, or the keeper saved it. Or the other 10 were missed, and that means they went over the bar, they went wide, they deflected and went out for a corner. That means you've missed the target, okay? Then that gives you a percentage of a 50% strike rate of getting your shots on target. So I think you know where I'm going with this. We're focusing on processes again. What I want you to do for your next game is remember that process and focus on, can you beat 50%? And what that means is, can you get your shot on target? And when you're going through that process in the game, what you'll find is you'll start to realise that sometimes maybe you're taking a shot a little bit too early, a little bit too far out, and when you're not in the best position. So by maybe instead of shooting, you're making a pass, then you're moving into a new space higher up the pitch, you probably find you're going to get the ball back and you're going to be closer to goal, which means you're more than likely going to get a shot on target, which in turn means your percentage is going to move up from 50%. So hopefully that one makes sense. And again, with this one, guys, with this workshop, please, 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 if you're watching it on the recording, freeze it, hit pause, discuss it, work through it, and you should take 30 to 60 minutes on this one slide if you are doing it properly. Okay, next one, homework. So this is for everyone, whether you're watching this on a recording or you are watching it on our live. Okay, task, a disappointment journal. I want you to keep a journal for 1 week, noting any disappointments during games or training. For each disappointment, answer these questions. What happened? How did you react? What did you learn from the situation? And what's your plan to move forward? Now, again, you can record this in your football blueprint, and that's where I want you to record it. Again, it could be in your daily planner, and there is a section at the bottom with notes, or the note page that I just showed you, you could jot it into just the general notes page as well. Once you've answered this and you've done a journal for a week, can you do me a favor? Can you post it into the community, give it the title, Disappointment Journal, and screenshot your page on the football blueprint and drop it in. I'm really interested to see what happened for you, how did you react, and what did you learn from the situation, and what's your plan to move forward. Now, I promise everyone, if you screenshot that page in the community and give us your disappointment journal, I promise I'll give you a reply back in a video, and I'll give you the video reply on how you can fix this and to see how you're moving along. After each disappointment, set one small, achievable objective goal to focus on improving. This could be related to the skill or the mindset, i.e. working on ball control, staying calm under pressure, and I think you know which way we're going with this one. So now you can pause this one if you're watching it on a recording and go away, complete your disappointment journal, and in a week's time, I want as many of yous to post it in the community and tag it to me at Raymond's Wood and share it. And I will love to have a look at it for you. So a little bit about the conclusion. So we're nearly finished on this small section here. Okay, some of the key takeaways. Disappointments are a natural part of football, and they can help you grow if approached with the right attitude. Learning to cope with disappointment is going to build confidence, resilience, mental toughness. And for me, this is the biggest thing. If you do this and you learn to deal with disappointment off the field because you're processing it on your football blueprint, when you go on the pitch, you're going to learn to switch out of that disappointment quicker, which means you're going to be more of a valuable piece to the team than you currently are. Okay? By reflecting on your disappointments and setting goals, you're going to turn these setbacks into huge opportunities for growth, okay? Final reflection. How are you going to handle your next disappointment differently? What have you learned about yourself from dealing with past disappointments? Now, to help you with this last final reflection, I hope the answer that you're all saying, how will you handle your next disappointment differently? The one thing that you can do to fix this straight away is recognize the disappointment first. When you come off the training pitch or off the game pitch, record it, even if you just type it in your phone quickly so you don't forget in memory. And then when you go home, record it into your football blueprint. Put it into the community here and post it. And then I'll give you some pointers on what you can do to fix it, how you can build it into a real life objective. And this is going to help you become one of the best players on the planet. So just to finish off, guys, a little bit of a summary. Again, as ever, remember, this is a growing document. When you complete each slide, give it a tick so you know you've done it. And then we want you to keep cycling through. The next session and the final session that we've got to go in this 7-part mini-series, and I love this one, dealing with parents. So for all the mums and dads out there, you need to be involved with your sons and daughters on this one. This is a great one, and we look forward to having you on our next recording when we deal with parents on the football mental strength training. A big thank you for that one, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed that one as much as I enjoyed it. Again, remember the focus is that's going to be recorded and dropped in. So those little 25 to 30 minute explainers are in there to help you and guide you. Some of you can just work through the slides as well and just know what to do. But the power of this is posting in the community, give it the subtitle, tell us what you're doing, and then we will go away and reply and help you with a video message or a comment on there as well, okay? We are going to go to a quick break. When I get back in 2 minutes, I'm going to have a look at the comments in YouTube. We'll look at some of the questions, and I did drop a post in today as well to see if there's any more questions in there. Guys, you've got a quick 2-minute drink break, food break, if you need to run the toilet, and we'll be back with you in the next couple of minutes.
You don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goats grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch to Goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time. In these, are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around your shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match.
Hi everyone, welcome back. So a big thank you for that. So I'm just going to have a little look. We did get a lot of comments on that particular section on the football mental strength. So nothing is easy. That was one of the comments we got. It's a great one. Having a good mindset. But what does that actually mean, having a good mindset? I think in the past people have said having a good mindset is like being positive all the time. But what does being positive mean? I think for me, you could be showing a face of upset, but if you know in your head you're going through processes over outcomes, I'd rather know that's happening rather than someone who just shows a smiley face all the time and looks like they've got a good mindset, but they haven't really internally, they're not dealing with it. So you need to make sure the key is processes versus outcomes. Hard work pays off. That's a great one. We lost the grand final and we came back the next year and had the hunger to win, which we did. So that's a great one. I love that one. Hey Xavier, just seen you've just jumped online a few minutes ago. I hope you're well, my friends. So some great comments that we got on there. And yeah, big congratulations to Khaleesi on winning that tournament as well. That's great news. It's good to see that we're all punching at the moment and all winning. Now I'm going to have a little look at school because I did ask for some questions to drop in. Now, we didn't get any questions in here for tonight. So, at the moment, we haven't got any questions in YouTube. So, what I will do is, guys, I'm just going to talk about one or two other things. But what I want you to do is, if you've got any questions, please drop them in the YouTube for me. And I'll be able to answer them for you. And I've got a feeling maybe there's one question just being dropped in. I'll just drop back out here and I'll have a little look. In possession, what triggers should a centre midfielder look for before switching the play or progressing the ball forward? And that's from Khaleesi. That is a great one. So in possession, what triggers should a centre midfielder look for before switching the play or progressing the ball? So I'll answer it. I'm not going to whiteboard this one, but I'm going to answer it. It'll probably be quite a long answer, over 3 to 5 minutes, but I'll explain how I would answer this one. My concern would be if you're a player and your coach hasn't prepared you properly and you're looking for triggers before you switch the ball, I think that's a little bit of a red flag. That's a bit of a warning sign, because that means you're guessing and your teammates are guessing. Now, what I would do is, if I was the coach, and I've done this in the past a lot, is we actually teach the players in scenarios what the triggers are, okay? So I'll give you an example, and actually, do you know what? I am gonna whiteboard. Bear with me 2 seconds, because I've just realised I've left my whiteboard on my desk. I'll be back with you in 20 seconds. Sorry about that. I thought I had my whiteboard sat right in front of me, but I've got it. So what I'm going to do is, I will build you the scenario in a moment, but what I would do is I would look for setting up certain triggers before you start to look at the different options. So what I will do is, once I'm connected on here, we will run a little scenario. So I will just connect into my screen from here. So just bear with me, and hopefully this will switch us across. Fantastic. Great question as well, by the way. This is a great one. So this is a great one, as I said, that you can put back onto your coaches, whether you've got first team coaches or assistant coaches. But this is one that you really need to pass off to them to do. So hopefully everyone should be seeing my screen at the moment, and I will just wipe this clean. Okay. Okay, here we go. So what we're going to think about is, we want to have a look at some basic triggers, because one of the things I'm against as well is when coaches or players try and do triggers that are really confusing. And I think sometimes certain triggers are the best ones to do, because if it's really simple, you know as a midfielder what to look for, and you'll be looking for that particular thing. And then once you see that basic trigger happen, it's a great way for then you can just employ it. So what I'll do is, I'll probably take you through, we've still got about 20 minutes of the call to go. I'll probably take you through maybe 2 triggers, just to give you an idea of how you can set up. So let's imagine in this scenario as ever, we're shooting in this direction, and we've got our goalkeeper there. Just for this purpose, we'll just put the back 4 in quite defensive, but we'll imagine we are this player there. Let's say you're playing in centre midfield, and we'll have our other 2 midfielders, and we'll say our attackers are slightly isolated over this way. Okay, now what we're looking for is, if we've got the opposition in play here, so let's say we've got the full backs over, centre backs are touch tight, and we've got another full back there. Then we've got our opposition are in fairly tight defending in here. Now, what some of the triggers might be that we look for, and again, you would hope your coach would take you through this scenario, but let's imagine we're the X's and we're shooting in this direction going up this way, okay? Now, what are the triggers might be? We want the triggers to come normally from our wide players or our 9. Now, it depends on, again, what formation everyone's playing. But let's imagine in this scenario, this is our 7, this is our 11, and this is our number 9, okay? What we might look for the trigger number 1. Let's do trigger number 1. We're looking for our number 9 to come out and look to bounce the ball off you. So let's imagine you've got the ball here, And let's imagine this little bit of space has opened up slightly. This player is a little bit off the pace there. The ball will come in from you. This player has dropped all the way in. So all of a sudden now, hopefully, what's happened is this centre-back would have followed our attacker in. And then you will then receive the ball back from this player. Now, what we've done is we've now created this little space. Now, the next trigger would be in this scenario, if we're thinking about the left side of the pitch, the final piece to the trigger will be this player making a run, the 11, like this. Because we're hoping that this player makes a slight run this way as well. Now, as this player makes this run this way, what this is going to create here is, well, imagine that these have come away. We're now going to end up with our player there and our teammates there. We've now created that pocket of space for our player here to run into, and then we play a simple ball through. So the movement on this is movement from your number 9 towards you, and it's a 1-2. And what we mean by a 1-2, you play the ball to the striker's running into you, they bounce the ball back to you, they've sucked the defender in, and they then spin off into space, and then you finish the movement. Okay, so we'll imagine you're the number, let's say you're the number 8. The number 8 will then play a through ball. But at the same time, your number 11 here peels off after you've completed the 1-2 with the number 9. So that's a very, very, very simple trigger to walk through. So the number 9 drops off and makes a run towards you in this position here. You do a little short 1-2 with each other. The number 11 peels off in this direction to take the defender away. They then create this level of space, and then the number 9 will make the run back in and you play the ball. So I think Khaleesi, it was, who dropped the question in. Yeah, great question. But as you can see, to practice that, you can't just come up with this stuff, because this is stuff that's got to be practiced on the training grounds. And there's a reason why. I'll give you an example. There's a reason why English teams do so well in the Champions League at the moment. And I'll just take this slide off, but what I will do is I'll screenshot this for you and share it into the community. And obviously this will be recorded and get back in. But if we just hop out here, and if I just take you guys into this particular section, and I'm just going to showcase something to you, and I'll show you how strong and how powerful the Premier League is, and I'll tell you why they are so strong. So if we have a look at the Champions League, okay, this is the table for the Champions League. Okay, Arsenal, English. Liverpool, English. Tottenham, English. Chelsea, English. Manchester City, English. So in the top 8 teams in the Champions League, 5 of them are English teams. We got 1 German, we've got 1 Spanish, and we've got 1 Portuguese. Then below there, the other English teams in 12th place. So all 6 English teams are all inside the top 12, but 5 of them are inside the top 8. And out of the top 6, 4 of them are English. Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool and Arsenal. And the reason why the English teams are so strong is because when you hear things like they practice set pieces, it doesn't just mean that they're practicing corners or free kicks. When you hear about Premier League teams practicing set pieces, they will play like the session I've just shown you on the screen, this particular one here. They will practice these over and over again. But what they won't do is They won't practice, Khaleesi, 5 or 6 of them a week and have different ones. They will keep it really, really, really simple. So when we're talking about midfield players looking for triggers for attackers, they will have one set play and they will practice it time and time again because they then know what they're looking for. It's like a game of chess. They're trying to move the chess pieces around. And this is why being consistent with your defensive duties, every time you lose the ball, all of yous recover behind the ball. Let's play possession-based football. Let's counter-attack if we can. But we want to try and open up the opportunity. We want to break the team down by doing this. Now, some teams do this, and it will pay off in the first 5 minutes of the game, and they'll get a goal from it. Some teams will persist all game and not get any luck with it, and then 5 minutes to go will then finally get payoff from it. And these are the best way to attack them. But going back to the question, this type of stuff shouldn't just be made up on a game day. It needs to be practiced. And Khaleesi, or whoever else is watching this live call, or you're watching it on a recording, you don't need to try and work this out yourself. And even if you're 10 years of age, have a chat with mum and dad, get them to help you to speak to coach and show them this video. Share this video to your coach and get your coach to start thinking about the coaching differently. I can tell you now, coaches in the MLS Next program in the US, the NPL system in Australia and New Zealand, even the men's and women's top teams in the NPL or MLS Next in the US, I'm telling you now, won't go into this detail. I would be doing this with my under-10s team. If I had an under-10s team, I would be practicing this 2-3 times a week. Quite simply because if you're 10 and you understand this and you know how to do it, imagine how good you're going to be when you're a senior player. And this is why things like doing your coaching badges in Europe with UEFA completely outdoes, with all respect to the coaching federation in Australia and New Zealand and the USA, they don't go to the level that UEFA do. And these are the levels of that I have completed when I've completed my coaching courses. It's to be able to open up certain sections of the pitch, to be able to create space, to then attack that space, to then, if we focus on processes, not outcomes, to get as many shots as we can on target. That is the big goal. If we can get 10 or more shots on target, normally 2.2 of those 10 shots become goals. So can you imagine if you can do 20, that gives you 4.4 goals a game. Now, normally you only need 2.4 goals to win most matches. So hopefully some of you are seeing the difference. I hope you enjoyed that. I didn't give you the second example, Khaleesi, because I think it's really important that you just focus on one idea. But this would be a great one that you could present back to your coaches, and it'd be an amazing one to showcase to them. So I'm just going to pull myself back up on the live screen. So as ever, a big thank you for that one. That was a great one. Now, what are some good foods to eat before and after games? Xavier, I'll finish off on this one. You should know the answer to this one, okay? Remember, it's really important that you've got energy to play the game. Now, it depends on what you eat as energy. Some of you have got a very carbohydrate-heavy diet. Some of you have got a very protein-heavy diet. But again, this all comes down to what is in your DNA test and your nutrition. Because you don't want to be eating bananas before a game if you've got an intolerance to bananas. So there's a double-barreled answer to this one, Xavier. The first thing I would look at is what is it you can eat? And then if it is you are 70% carbs, 20% protein, 10% fats, I would be very carb heavy for before a game. So it might be rice, it could be bananas, it could be a little bit of chicken with it. It just depends. But again, you don't want to be eating foods that are like spicy or acidic, because you don't want any reflux or issues in your stomach during the game. And also, when you're eating before a game and after a game, you've got to make sure your timing's perfect. When we're looking at things like carbs and we're using carbs as energy, carbohydrates, you need to be loading 6 to 8 hours before the game. So if your kickoff's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, this is all pinned at like 6, 7 in the morning. Having a big breakfast, carb heavy, things like you don't want hash browns because they're fatty and it's white potato, but things like sweet potatoes would be a great carbohydrate source if you can eat it. Bananas would be a great one, again, if you can eat it. How do you know what you can and can't eat? Well, you check your DNA results, and that will give you your intolerance test results. If you don't know where that is, you can go to the section on school. I'll show you very quickly on where that is, and we can have a little look at that one. So if we go back into school, and we go into classroom, and if we go into nutrition, you can follow the DNA testing course. This is completely included in the platform. You can watch all of this through, and then you can see the results. These are my results. So all of the ones in red are all the ones that I can't eat or drink anymore. So things like bacon, duck, ham, cream, milk. I'm pretty no good with any of that stuff. So there are some of the things that you should be looking for. So as ever, a great question, Xavier, but the answer is follow your intolerance test results. Carbohydrate probably heavy before a game. After the game, you want to be a bit more protein heavy because you're trying to repair your muscles, but the timing is key. 6 to 8 hours before the game, what carbs you put in your body is going to be the carbs that are going to fuel you. Straight after the game, you need protein straight into the body. Now that protein might be, if you can stomach it, you know, chicken, beef, having a good protein source. If you're more down the route of you want a quick protein shake and you want to have it with water or coconut milk or milk, whatever you're allowed to have, again, if you follow your intolerance, it's good to put a good 50 to 60 grams of protein in you within 1 hour of finishing a game or a training session, because it's going to help your body repair and fix everything in your muscles ready for the next day. So that's me, guys, over and out. A big thank you. As I said, in the next 24 hours, we will have that dealing with disappointments dropped in, and then we've got the final one to go on Saturday, which is how to deal with parents. Super excited to go through that one with us. And then next week, we're going to be covering off, because mental strength training is going to be done. I'm going to start picking some topics to help coaches, volunteer coaches, and to help players. So there's going to be certain topics that we're going to be driving out in some of the different live calls. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, be honest, give me a thumbs down, and I'll make sure we maintain all of that content. Stay safe wherever you are, whether you're in the USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, the UK. I hope you're all well, and I will see you all on Saturday morning, Australia time, Friday night, UK and US time.
You don't bunch up, you don't get sweaty. Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goats grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.